Code focused teaching just helps kids to break the code, so to speak, from spoken to written words. It helps if they learn the letters and the sounds of the alphabet, which is why they found things like A is for apple, B is for ball, to be really helpful, to help get them in that direction. Book reading has found to be very beneficial. It helps increase vocabulary and familiarity with pages and print. Helps kids, especially if parents are reading to kids, it helps the kids ask questions and allow for conversation to take place. I've also heard that this helps throughout the lifespan as we get older. If kids are reading, teenagers are reading, it just helps with your grammar, improving grammar, understanding components of a speech a little better. So that's been useful throughout the lifespan. Parent education. So parents can help stimulate cognition for kids through book reading. The children end up becoming better readers if they've kind of gone through that with their parents. Adults need to use words to expand vocabulary. A lot of times parents' words are kind of more command words, so stop, don't touch that, or whatever, rather than teaching kids. So it's really good to use more words to help and talk through why you need to not touch that, why you need to stop that. Helps kids expand their vocabulary. And then language enhancement. So just within each child's zone of proximal development, the mentors can expand vocabulary and grammar based on the child's knowledge and previous experience. And then preschool programs have been found to be useful. Children do learn from teachers. They learn from the little songs that they learn, excursions, and they learn from their peers. They learn from other kids in school. Variation in education, I think, is coming up in the next few slides. I think most common in the U.S. are going to be Montessori schools. You'll see them in almost every town. They really focus on less structure, less like a teaching environment, like a public school or private school, and more on engagement. So getting the kid, they kind of focus their attention on something and learn through that attention. There's certainly two camps: people who think that a child-centered program is more beneficial for children, and others who think teacher-directed programs are more beneficial. But I really think it depends on the child's learning style. For everyone that I know who has been to a Montessori school and has thrived in that environment, I've also heard stories of kids who have gone to a Montessori school and have not thrived because they need more direction. So I think it just depends on the child's learning style, maybe some other factors, and to determine, which one would be ideal. Teacher-directed programs is what we really know of through public schools or private schools. The focus is on really getting those test scores up. We're all kind of going through the same process. We're all learning at the same time. There's a lot of sitting. Are influenced by behaviorism. So I think I actually used a school example when we were talking about behaviorism before. You get a gold star at the end of the day if you've done well, and then if you get a gold star every day, maybe you get to pick from the candy bin at the end of the week or something. And so that little encouragement is trying to push kids forward. Teacher-directed programs are less expensive than a child-centered program like a Montessori, for example. because the child to adult ratio is much higher. You can have 30 or 40 kids in class versus maybe 12 kids in class. Head Start is really important. It started out in the 1960s. It has shifted from a strictly kind of preschool education only to now helping to promote literacy, help parents and kids learn English, helps provide opportunity for dental care, immunizations, things like that. And this is just a chart of, they're just comparing the child-centered, so like the Montessori versus the teacher-directed, which would be like a public school situation. And this is just what teachers, what kindergarten teachers think that kids should know. Currently, we're 21st century, so the yellow bars, children should know the alphabet before kindergarten. 60% of kindergarten teachers think that. Children should learn to read in kindergarten. 80% of teachers think that. Children should be able to sit still and pay attention. Almost 80%. But that's a lot of structure and requirements for a 5-year-old who maybe hasn't had that before. So there's a lot we should be thinking about, I think, when we're looking at education. What teachers do. So we're still in the yellow for 21st century. Theater activities, about 50%. Dance or creative movement, at least weekly. I think there's a lot of push to do something like that. I know my nephew, starting back in kindergarten, every year he does yoga in class. My niece's school has recently started doing that as well, just trying to get kids to move. They have a lot of things I've seen. Instructors are trying to get more crafty with like math classes, and they'll learn math by doing like hopscotch or something, something active to kind of have kids learn while they're moving. Which serves two purposes. It gets some of their little kid energy out, and also helps them kind of make concrete examples and understand the topics that are coming up. So that's pretty useful. Teacher-directed whole class activities, at least 3 hours a day. Reading worksheets every day, math worksheets every day. I do hear a lot about worksheets still being a thing, so that's no surprise there.